everyone, it's Morgan and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm here to wish you all a very happy Halloween because it's coming up right around the corner, and honestly, by the time I put this up, I don't know if it's gonna have passed or not, but hey. It's not Halloween yet, so whatever. Today I decided to take a little bit of a different approach. I'm not actually going to be drawing anything today. Instead, with my holiday spirit, I decided that I was going to try and make a cute little pumpkin squishy kind of thing out of this big old pillow. I don't know what kind of pillow this is. I think it was labeled as like a bone pillow, but it's been like yellowing in my windowsill, so it's definitely time to use this thing. I'm going to see if I can cut it into a shape that somewhat resembles a nice old pumpkin, and we're gonna paint it and see if I can actually do this or not, because I'm honestly not quite sure. This could be a complete flop, but we're here to find that out, aren't we? So, coming at you in voiceover, hi. Right around now is when I'm wondering how in the world I'm supposed to start this project, because I have this large bone pillow, which is how it was labeled. I don't really know what a bone pillow is, but here you go. That's a bone pillow. And I knew that I needed a smaller area because that pillow was kind of large, but I don't know, it was just so difficult to cut through it all the way. So I wanted to do the whole project with scissors, me being kind of dumb, and I had to immediately take out an X-acto knife to try to make a cut that I'd be able to follow with the scissors later. And then once I was able to get this little chunk off, honestly I wasn't even sure if it was too small at first because I had a feeling I was going to shave it down too much. But luckily, this is the chunk that we stick with. And the first thing I did was try to see it in person the way I was seeing it in my head, because drawing on paper is one thing, but actually making something three-dimensional takes a little bit more thought. I realized that right around now because I thought it was just going to be super simple, make a circle. But I'm not making a circle, I'm making a sphere. Like, that's a whole object. It was a little difficult to comprehend at first, which is me and my small brain, but eventually I got it. I started to kind of map it out, and then I realized that wasn't helping, and then I just started snipping and snipping and snipping away until I got, I don't even know what to call it. It's not a circle, but it's a circular chunk, maybe? It is not a circle, but it is closer to the shape of a circle than it was before, I guess. And then all I kept doing was shaving away with the scissors until I could get something close to a circle. This was probably the longest process because all I was doing was making 1,000 tiny cuts. And obviously scissors are a straight edge, and to use a straight edge to get a perfectly curved surface is definitely really difficult. So once I got it to look like a snowball type thing, snowball with ridges, that's when I started fixing it. Then, once I was happy with my little squishy snowball, I used a pink marker to kind of map out the 5 ridges that I wanted to make. These would be the 5 areas that I would use the scissors to cut into to make an indent in the pumpkin, giving it, a pumpkin shape, so it's not just a circle with a stem. This is where you can see that I did use a blue marker at first, and that was honestly a pretty big mistake, because I thought I was going to make the ridges where the blue marker was, but then I realized that I wanted to fix it, so I fixed it in pink, and I thought that I'd be able to cover the blue marker, but later you will find out I could not. So unfortunately, I did forget to film myself creating the little stem that I attached on top, but it was just made from a little scrap piece of foam that came off of the smaller chunk that I made when I was making it into a sphere. I took one of those pieces of foam and just chopped it up really roughly to get a nice rough sort of rectangular prism, but not really. And I glued it on there using like a combination between Mod Podge and fabric paint, because Mod Podge is not exactly sticky, but I didn't really need it to be super sticky. I just needed it to stay in place because I was going to paint over it later, which would cement it into place. So I guess I got the job done, but here I am removing the hair ties of the stem. Okay guys, so I'm coming back at you in real time here for a minute. Can we ignore my baby hands? I know I didn't say that before, but I always have tips on and I took them off because I haven't gotten them filled, and now I have baby hands. Let's not make fun of them, thanks. So obviously I did a little bit of work off camera. It was a little bit of a struggle. I did cut out the stem without filming, and I didn't really realize that at first. I was just so into it, because I did film a lot of the foam cutting process, but it took forever, and it was just me making a bunch of tiny snips. So eventually I stopped filming and did a little off-camera work, and I did have some trouble attaching the stem. I didn't have proper fabric glue or anything like that. So honestly, I just put some of this like fabric paint underneath and got it to stick a little bit, and then I painted around the edges of it just to get it to lock in place. I don't really need it perfectly stuck on because once I add the layers of paint, it will kind of fix itself. And it's pretty stable right now. I can wiggle it a little bit, no problem. Before, I was way too scared to touch it because I had to retry this like 3 times because obviously fabric paint is not an adhesive to attach things together, but I was just hoping it would suffice for now, and it did. So my next step is to coat this entire squishy thing into this orange color of paint. I'm going to apply a whole lot of layers because this was already like, not 2 true layers, but it was at least 2 because, please ignore that Snapchat. It was at least 2 layers. So this is what it looks like that. And as you can tell, we are going to need quite a lot more to cover all of this. So let's do it. And now we are finally beginning the long, can't even say long enough, process of painting this squishy. I mean, do I regret doing this? Heck no, I love it. But did I waste a lot of time? Heck yeah, I did. You can totally tell as these clips come up that some of them were filmed in the daytime, some of them were filmed during the nighttime, and the lighting is crazy different because, I mean, I originally wanted to only work on this during the day so I can keep the lighting consistent, but then I quickly realized that I really needed to get in as many coats as possible every day in order to get this video up as soon as possible, which is ironic, because, yeah, but no. I tried, and honestly, I think it took like 5 days just to paint this whole thing because I was doing it in the morning, and then maybe if I was home during like, you know, mid-afternoon to late afternoon, and then I would do it again towards the nighttime so I could let it dry overnight. And I needed to because every time I went to pick it up, the paint was still like super tacky, and I really wanted it to dry as perfectly as possible. So I made sure that I gave it at least 4 hours, which is what is suggested on the bottle. I made sure to give it at least 4 hours to just ensure that it would be drying as perfectly as possible. And at the end, I was very happy with the results, so I think that it was smart to wait as long as I did for all the paint to dry. But the amount of orange coats I put on this pumpkin, oh my god! It got to the point where I was satisfied with the texture and opaqueness on most of the pumpkin. But my biggest problem was these blue lines that I put on it in the beginning just would not disappear. As soon as you put the orange over top of them, they started to look kind of like green underneath, and they just didn't want to go away. It just looked like a dark mark. And I mean, you can still see it in the final result, which I don't mind because it kind of just looks like a mark on a pumpkin because, you know, pumpkins in nature have little blemishes, little faults to them. But towards the beginning, when I was like happy with the rest of the pumpkin, the blue was just going through so much that it was distracting me from the pumpkin. It was making me mad, and I was just trying my hardest to make it go away, and I just totally couldn't. So if I were to fix one thing for next time, it would definitely be not to use a marker underneath, or if I do, maybe like a yellow marker, something that'll like easily go away. But that was definitely my biggest mistake because it's what bothered me throughout the entire process. And oh my gosh, can I stress one more time? This process was so long. So I spent all this time painting and waiting for the paint to dry, and every single time it dried, it would dry and I would see the lines again. Because when it was wet, it would be thick enough to cover it, and I'd be like, oh, okay, this is the time. Like, I'm going to wake up and it's going to be perfect. And then I woke up and there's the lines again. For the stem of the pumpkin, I started off by using like a very, very, very thin layer of the green paint because I just wanted to kind of seal up the cracks of the piece, and I wasn't really certain if I was going to go with the green or if I was going to go with the brown color that I had. So I wanted to just put down like a nice thin little layer just to keep it intact and not let it get damaged while I was deciding what color to use. So me and my indecisiveness, I used both colors. I mixed the brown and the green together, and I was really happy with the result that it created. It was a nice dark brownish green that just looked good to me. It looked nice and natural, and I loved it. So after all that time, finally are presented with something beautiful. Okay, so it's time to expose myself a little bit. Now I'm coming at you guys from December 5th. So, rough. Wow. Because especially since I mentioned Halloween in the beginning of this video, yeah, that's a little messed up. Sorry. I I don't really have a crazy good excuse. I just had a really, really busy month. But this thing took absolutely forever to dry. I really underestimated the time I would need to spend on this video because this beautiful little pumpkin took so many hours for every coat to dry, and I did so many coats on it. So, you ready for our nice grand reveal of our finished product? We have our squishy pumpkin. It looks honestly just like I envisioned it to look. It squishes so nice still. The paint is nice and flexible. I seriously have no issues with this. I'm so happy. Even the stem, I was a little scared to do the stem because I used a mixture between a green paint and a dark brown, and I bought both of them because I wasn't sure which color I would want to use in the final product. But I used both of them. The only complaint I would have though is that these blue lines came all the way through every coat of paint, which is very surprising because, like, yeah, I guess it was a kind of dark line, but I seriously used my lightest blue marker. Like, I wasn't trying to make any crazy marks because originally this was going to be where the ridges of the pumpkin would be, but then I decided to change it and I made the ridges in pink and then cut it out here, and there's no more pink because I cut it, but I wasn't cutting here anymore and it was just so difficult to cover. But overall, I'm really, really impressed with this. I had so much fun. I had extra foam, and maybe I could do something else in the future. But this little thing just makes me so happy because it's seriously seeing your art come to life. I've only ever done mostly 2D things, so to see this in front of me, to hold it, to squish it, that's great because this came out of my imagination, you know? I'm super happy. So let me know what you guys think. I told you how I think. I love this little thing. And I'm going to put it on my desk for the rest of my life because I love Halloween, so Halloween all the time, please. But like I said, it is quite a bit later now, so thank you guys all so much for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful holiday or holiday break. I'll probably be coming at you guys again before then, but just in case, I need to say it now because I can't miss the opportunity. So, happy holidays to absolutely all of you, subscriber or not, I don't care. Have a fantastic December, have a fantastic break, and let's welcome in 2020! Yay! So, thank you guys all so much one more time for watching. Let me know if you liked it, let me know what you think about my pumpkin, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye!